Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Daniel Roberts here with the marketing team. So pumped to have Aaron Payne here, all the way from Oklahoma City. He drove down here just so we could talk a little bit about his experience and his daughter's experience with pressure washer. So a few weeks ago on our Flex Call, which our Flex Call is just a company-wide call we do every week, where we get the crews on the rigs, the people in the office, anywhere anyone can join in, and we talk about things that have happened through the week. We share some best practices. We'll go over some safety moments, some continued education, some training. And one week we were talking about pressure washer, proper usage, some things going on the rigs and how best to use them. And that also transitioned over into how we use pressure washers at home, because safety does not stop once we leave the rig or the office. So, Aaron, you got on there, I think, and you shared a little bit about a story that I think a lot of us can relate to with your daughter, TikTok, pressure washer. Would you just mind kind of sharing with everybody what almost happened with your daughter in the pressure washer?
Yeah, Daniel. So I come pulling in the driveway, and my daughter comes out. I'm in the garage tinking around, and she's like, "Dad, do you still have your pressure washer?" I'm like, "Yeah. What's up?" She's like, "Well, I seen on TikTok, a girl cleaning her shoes." I'm like, "Whoa, time out." She's like, "Well, can I use it?" I'm like, "No." Like, how are you going to do this in the first place? Are you going to do it with your foot in it, out of it? She's like, "Well, she had her foot, she's holding it, just pressure washing her feet." I'm like, "No, my pressure washer is 3,700 psi. It'll blow your toes right off."
Oh yeah.
And she's kind of looked at me strange. I'm like, "It doesn't resonate." So what I did is I went in, sat her down, and I showed her. I pulled up images on the internet and I showed her what injection wounds look like. And it was really mind boggling for her to see those visual representations of it. And we had a long discussion that said, basically at the end of it is, hey, you gotta take this stuff with a grain of salt. You really need to communicate and understand what's going on out there before you just jump into this. But she probably had a low psi pressure washer and was doing it. And digging into it a little bit more, she was at like one of these little spray right uh,
Car wash.
yeah, car
Yeah.
wash place. And I'm like, yeah, those are pretty those are low pressure. And at the end of it, I said, okay, now you're informed. I want to task you with sharing this with your brother and sister. And she did.
Yeah. She showed them the pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's
absolutely.
probably worth printing some of those off and taping them on the pressure washer. I think it's interesting when you shared that. It resonates because we think about safety every day. I mean, you guys are when crews are on the
Yes.
rigs every day, they're thinking of how can they end their shift the way they started, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can they go home with their families? But when you go home, I think it can be easy to just shut that part of your brain off, because you're like, I've been thinking all day, or I've been safe. I've been thinking of all the things that could go wrong and making sure I'm following the best practices and going through these procedures. You know, thankfully you overheard your daughter, and you turn that into a teachable moment. It's almost like, we like to say, like, I thought you knew better. I think that parents say that a lot. It's like, I thought you knew better. You're 16, 17 years old. I thought you'd know better. But obviously they didn't. So, as a safety professional, and as someone who's in this industry, and we've got a lot of people who follow our page and follow our content, like to read the newsletter. How can you keep yourself in a way so that you can overcome that assumption with your kids or your family when you go home of, I thought you knew better? What do you think? How do you do that in your life?
It's hard because at the end of the day, we default to "I thought you knew better." It's because it's common understanding for us, but it's not for them.
Yeah.
So I just try to keep things in real world perspective for them, and I really hit on what could happen,
Yeah.
the potential outcome.
Yeah. Potential outcome. And I even think with your daughter, it's like, if you're going to use a tool that you're unfamiliar with, especially something that's high powered or you have to plug in or require some pressurized air, come talk to me before you do it. Don't just go use something because you
Mm-hmm.
think because you saw it on TikTok. Sharing that story, sharing something from real life is just so valuable. And as we're coming into the holidays, just want to encourage everyone out there to bring your safety home. Right? It doesn't stop on the rig. It doesn't stop at the office. But we want to keep our kids, our families, and our friends safe. So, Aaron, seriously, thanks so much, man. Thanks for making the drive over here. Thanks for sharing your story today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, HP.